His mom was pissed to say the least. It was days since he has gotten his mark and yet she hasn't gotten a call or text from him on his birthday. Imagine the shock Kazum had when he woke up over 50 missed calls from his mom on a random Saturday morning. He was to head to pick up Shoyo and take him to the arcade to try this new game. Groaning and crawling out of his bed, he walked to his bathroom, taking his toothbrush out before calling his mom. After 2 rings she answered. He placed some toothpaste on the brush and started his morning hygiene. Kazum Kenma, how dare you not call me? Do you know how worried I was? I thought maybe you hadn't gotten your mark or maybe you had gotten rejected. His mom continued for hours. This gave him time to go down and wash his laundry, clean up his bed and even dispose of this trash from the previous night. Finally the call ended with his mom telling him to allow her to meet his mate when he had met them. When the call ended, he hopped in his car and made his way to where he and Shoyo agreed to meet up. They chatted a lot about in the car ride. Shoyo crushing over the wolf furry guy? Kenma hadn't remembered his name. They had a fun time at the arcade. As much as he didn't like to move or even exercise, he agreed to play Dance Revolution with Shoyo, making a new high score. He sat down around a table with Shoyo, picking at his food. How was your first heat, Ken-san? Sho asked, making Kenma almost choke on the CO2 passing down his airway. It was painful, like someone was just burning me with a metal rod. Ken said, grimacing at the memory. I see, Sho said, sipping at his soda. Something wrong? Ken asked, curious. No, it's just that I wanted my first heat to be with that guy I like. Sho says sheepishly. Ken froze. Aren't you a minor? Kaz said, looking at him perplexed. Are you being pressured? Kaz asked, cupping Sho's hand in his. What? No. What are you talking about? Shoyo asked, obviously lost. That act. It took a while for him to understand before Shoyo began to laugh. No, that was just a wish. I wanted you to buy me condoms. Shoyo said as if that was any better. Why? Kenma asked, half grossed out. So I can practice on myself. He joked. It's for a project. I'm building this model but I need the rubber from an Omega condom. Shoyo said, hoping Kaz understood him better now. Cow POV. It was almost Kiji's birthday, which I've been waiting for the longest time. Well, not I alone? Did that make sense? All of us, including Kendo. This awkward friendship thing was going on. He seemed to have actually developed feelings for Keiji, which made me happy, but what would make me happier is if Keiji was also our mate. I walked slowly to my physics class, hoping that my seat wasn't taken because today I spent way too much time at the gym with Guru. When he arrived at the class, he took out his books and as the day progressed he just grew more nervous, which is why when he opened his dorm door his roommate Tendao-jang, Wazir's man, you need to take a chill pill. He said, chuckling a bit before putting the final pieces together for his baking project. He smiled at Tendao, glad he got a roommate somewhat similar to him. Is this a part of your final grade? Kao asked as he walked over to the fridge for a drink. Yeah. Oh, also Waka and Semi asked if you could pass your notes to them from physics because they were stuck this morning. The Alpha said with a suggestive wink, which made Kao nod and laugh. Wakatoshi and Semi were Tendao's mates. Waka was an Omega while Semi was a Beta, and to add a cherry on top, their third member of the relationship was an Alpha. Tendao wasn't into sex, he only agreed to help Waka out during his heats, but he did love his partners a lot, which made him ask Tendao what he would do in a situation where Wakatoshi didn't want him, seeing that they had all been together from high school. After a very long conversation with Tendao, Kao saw that they were out of bottled water and decided to go to the nearest convenience store to buy a bottle, so served them until the next time they went grocery shopping. As Kao was cashing out, he heard someone yell somewhere in the convenience store, "Aw man, why are there so much to choose from?" Chuckling to himself, he thought that maybe the person was talking about ramen because he would also have a hard time to choose. Imagine his shock when he saw the person buying condoms, and it was Kenma. Why was he buying those? When their eyes met, Kenma seemed to have gotten calmer. Oh, hey, I wasn't expecting to see you here. Kenma said as he continued to look at Kao, showing a tiny hint of embarrassment in his tone. Me neither. His eyes flickered over to the condoms on the shelf, then back at Kenma. They aren't for me, I don't use those kinds of things. Ken said, his face growing red. Kao chuckled and patted him in the head. Haha, I see. So who are these for? Kao started to examine the boxes. A friend. Ken said plainly. Well, these are multi-sexual, so any second gender can use it. He handed a white box to Ken. He looked at him, half hoping for a smile or maybe a thank you, but Kenma just walked past him and bought the item before leaving the store. Kao left a few seconds after and walked back to his dorm room. Kao. His head perked up from his pockets as he was looking for his keys. K, what's wrong, baby? He walked over to his partner. I missed you. Keiji said. Even though he had seen him earlier today, Kao smiled before taking his key out and opening the room before allowing Keiji to enter. He placed the water bottles in the counter in the kitchen and went into this room to cuddle with Akashi. Ken POV. He had just arrived at his mom's house. He was anxious because she was very excited to hear about his mate Mark. He stopped the car and exited the veg aisle before walking up to his home and opening the door. His nose was filled with the familiar scent of his mom's cooking. He closed the door before calling out, "Mom, I'm here." While he walked to the kitchen, she turned around to greet her son, wrapping her arms around him. "Ken, you're here." She spun him around. taking in his bicycle, looking for the mark when Kaz raised his wrist for her to see. It's here, Mom. He said, pulling up his sleeve. I got some sweets for you. His mom examined his body before taking the condoms from him. You look beautiful, sweetie. Also, these are for the young couple down the street. I heard that the little Omega just found his mate, so I thought it would be nice to gift them this. His mom stated. Ken groaned and went to sit on the couch. And what if they don't want it, Mom? He said as he watched her walk around the house looking for something to put the item in. Then you can have it. She said rather bluntly, taking out the rubber she had on the coffee table. Ken sighed and ignored his mom, but he knows that she wasn't joking. His mom came and sat beside him as they talked about this college life, how much friends he made, if he's been eating well, if he likes his roommate. Ken found his mom annoying sometimes, but she had a goof heart and would always go out of his way to make sure she was happy. He told her about his mates, the two of them, Kuru and Bakuto. He also spoke about Akashi. His mom liked seeing that he seemed happy with his life in college. Kuru, that alpha that helped you find your way home. His mom mentioned. It seemed like she hadn't forgotten. He smiled at her, warmly, unexpectedly. Time skip. It was his birthday. They were all sitting waiting for his mark for a peer. Kenma was on the bed with Kuru, with Kao pacing around the bathroom door connected to the shared bedroom of Ken and Kei. Over time, Ken had gotten closer to these losers. He even went out on dates with them. He liked being with them, all three of them. So even he was nervous about Kei's mark. When the bathroom door opened and they saw his mark, they rushed to him, engulfing him in a hug. He was their mate. Maybe God had answered his prayers, or maybe not. Maybe it was fate, but Kenma was just happy he got to have these three as his mates. His mom was even more ecstatic, especially when she met Akashi. She was amazed by his hoodie. Seeing his mom and mates interact made him happy. Finn.